Hi everyone, it's Miss Gilday again. Today we are going to be covering the order of operations, BIMDAS. I'm recording this today because there's maybe some of you guys still listening in at home, although hopefully we've got most of you back in the classroom today. So, learning intentions for today involve solving problems using the order of operations, being able to write number sentences, including brackets, that represent our problems. By the end of today's lesson, hopefully you're all confident using BIMDAS accurately. So, in your notebook, which you should have handy and ready to go, can you just quickly jot down what is BIMDAS? We know BIMDAS is the order of operations, so this is what we need to start off with when we're solving equations. We start with our brackets. We then move into any indices, they're numbers that have to the power of, which we're going to cover in a couple of weeks' time. Then we do multiplication and division. We can use them interchangeably. And then we do addition and subtraction. Now, if all else fails and everything is the same, aka you've got multiplication and division, all in the same number sentence, just go from the left to the right-hand side of the equation. Pause the video if you need a bit more time to write this down. Okay, so we're going to start with your first activity today, having a go. So, question 1, which operation, brackets, addition, subtraction, multiplication or division, is going to be done first for each of those problems A through to F? So just write down the name of whichever operation it is going first. For the second question, classify each of the following statements as true or false, and can you justify your answer, aka can you prove it? The way you would prove it is you would just work out the left side and the right side of the equation, and you would write down your answers for each. Are they the same or not? Is it true or false? So can you pop 5 minutes onto your stopwatch? Make sure you've got a little timer there. I think 5 minutes will be plenty of time to get through this. Pause the video and we'll be back in 5 minutes. Okay, we're back. Hopefully you've managed to get through each of those questions. So let's check the answers. All right, question 1, you can see the answers there. You would use division, multiplication, division, brackets first, the brackets, and the brackets. Question 2, a little bit trickier. You had to apply your BIMDAS skills. So A is true, because you end up with 2 and 2. B is false, because on the left side you end up with 2, but on the right side you end up with -6. -4 plus 2 is -2, times 3 is -6. 2C is false. On the left side we have 0, and on the right side we have 32. The reason we have 0 is that 2 take -2 is the same as 2 plus 2, which is 0, and 8 times 0 is still 0. D is true. Now both sides are 0. E is false. You end up with -36 on the left side versus 12 on the right. Now this one was a little bit tricky. On the left side, we need to start with 20 divided by -5. This is a new rule we haven't explicitly done in class yet. If we multiply something by a negative, a positive by a negative, the answer must be negative. So 20 divided by -5 is going to make -4. So we end up with -40 take -4. We know that when we subtract a negative, it makes it the same as addition, positive. So it would be the same as -40 plus 4, which would be -36. On the right side, we start with the brackets, -40 take 20. This would be -60 divided by 5. Oh, my answer there is wrong. Oh no, that's right, sorry. -60 divided by a -5 gives us a +12. When we're doing multiplication and division, and we have a negative number with another negative number, it makes it a positive number. All right, F, same numbers, different brackets. So this time, we end up with -36 on both sides. Okay, so we're moving on to activity 2. We've got the old rules there for when we add and subtract negative and positive numbers, and then we've got those new rules that I just talked about with multiplication or division. So applying those rules and applying BIMDAS, take 10 minutes on your stopwatch to answer these questions, and then I'll follow up with you with some answers. So pause the video, come back in 10 minutes. All right, let's see how we went with these BIMDAS problems. So, these are our answers here. Have a look, mark your work, and then can you write down how many you got right out of 2, 4, 6, 8, 10? I'll ask you at the end to send me a direct message for your BIMDAS problems. You'll have 3 sets, so it will be out of 30 marks. Okay, at the end of the lesson today, can you send me a direct message with how many you got correct out of 30? Okay, so now you've finished marking, you've got your result out of 10. I'm going to do the second round of BIMDAS problems. Again, 10 minutes on the clock. Pause the video, and we'll see you then. Okay, we're back. So let's see how we went with the second round of BIMDAS problems. Got your answers there. If there are any that you're super confused about why you didn't get it right, okay, make sure you write a little note to yourself and pop that in your direct message as well. Okay, once you've answered these ones, give yourself your second round out of 10. And finally, we're going to move on to BIMDAS problems round 3, final round for these questions. Pop 10 minutes on your stopwatch, pause the video, and we'll see you then. All right, we are back. So these are our answers for BIMDAS problems round 3. These ones are a little bit trickier. You had to be careful of what you did first. So check the answers and then check your working. And if you got them wrong, can you see where you took a wrong step? Once you're finished, add up your answers. Again, these ones were out of 10. And make sure you send me a direct message with your total correct answers out of 30. Any questions that you have as well. Any questions that you didn't know the answer to. Okay, if you need a bit more time to mark those, just pause the video now. Otherwise, we're going to move on to the next activity. Okay, so for this activity, it's called a directed numbers puzzle. It's called directed because it's got instructions. Okay, so it's kind of like a magic square, almost, except that the instructions are very explicit. And it tells you for each of the boxes what the number is going to be. So start with the top clues and work your way all the way down to the bottom. For instance, the first clue is that the number in the center box is equal to -5 take 3. Okay, so you'd start there. Put your answer in the central box. The second clue says that the number that goes in the top right box is 5 less than -5. So if it's 5 less, remember we're going to go down the number line, further away from the positives. Tells you the number in the bottom left is -3 times -3, so I have to remember those new rules. And the number in the top left is your number that you wrote in the center, but adding -3 times -1 to it. Okay, so keep going through the clues, and I reckon within 10 minutes you'll have nailed this. Definitely. Pause the video, and we'll be back then. Okay, how did you go with the directed numbers puzzle? Here's our answer. Give you a second to mark it. All right. So, are we finished? Do we still have time in the lesson? make sure that you've worked back through Friday's lesson on problem solving, okay, from last week. There's probably a lot of you that didn't do this lesson because it was the first day in isolation, maybe didn't know quite what was going on. Okay, so make sure you go back in sector to last Friday and you work through the PowerPoint. Even better if you can print out the worksheet that's uploaded on the lesson as well. Okay, this is going step by step through the PowerPoint for you to write the examples down. Obviously, if you're in class today or tomorrow, I can give you a copy of the worksheet to do that. You need to make sure that you've covered last Friday's lesson before we do our test next week. Okay, the test will be on Tuesday. Tomorrow's lesson, what we're going to be doing is working on our notes sheets to make sure that we're prepared for our test. If you're finished and you want to try out some more puzzles, go to this website and it's got some really fun, tricky, addictive Kakuro puzzles, a Japanese ancient maths puzzle. Give it a whirl, it's good practice. Alright, till I see you next. Bye.